Hey everyone, it's Brian and Gord back for I think this is a vlog now. Is that right?
That's what my daughter told me. She
Okay.
says not to call it a vlog. It's
Vlog.
definitely a vlog.
So we realized the last one, our beta podcast, was really a vlog because it's a video log, I guess.
We have the helper slides. So
helper slides.
We
So
have video.
We have video, so we're here in video form, audio, and this is our vlog, and it's really demystifying data and media with Gord and Brian. So welcome everyone. Next one here will be on what should we have in a data marketing warehouse. And we got many more coming on some other topics that should be really exciting. And
yeah, we've brainstormed a few more. But this one is a pretty loaded question, I would say.
Yeah, what should we have in our data marketing, or what even is a data marketing warehouse? But anyway, so I guess, should we get started? So on the screen here, we have a bunch of data, it looks like. What is all this?
Well, this is what most businesses look like nowadays. You've got some sort of insights into your decision-making processes, but you could be running surveys for your business. You could have a mobile app. You could have some point-of-sale data for physically selling products. You could have a call center to help with support or for purchasing. You could have social media. You could have email. You could have social profiles. You could have digital advertising. You could have SMS text messages to confirm things. You could have a website. You can have analytics on that website. So the point of it is that you have a lot of working parts, I would say.
Right. So all those things generate data in some way.
Yeah, we love
and
data.
You need to put it. Okay, so you need to put it somewhere. So could you just store it like this? Like this looks kind of crazy, but I just have all these.
You could.
Things.
And I think that's how most people start. Is that you pull a report from the call center and see what happened on this day. And you try to match up that report with another report from another data source. And you might do that manually in Excel and whatnot. But that doesn't scale. It can be tedious, very prone to errors. And the problem is that you'll get a question from a manager or a C-level asking, we had a 20% increase in sales last month. What did we do to enable that? And
it's that billboard I put up.
Yeah, it could be the billboard. It could be some organic content that you knew nothing about. It could be an increase in your mobile app speed. It could be a promotion on your website. You don't have a clear answer. And in order to answer that question, I would say you need a marketing data warehouse to house all that data and to give yourself a holistic view of what's going on with your organization in regards to marketing and sales funnels, really.
Okay. So I want to look at where the best place to spend on my ads. Where's my return on ad spend, basically? Is that
right?
Kind of it? So I can figure out what's the best strategy? My dollars are they're there at a premium, so I need to effectively spend. Especially now, I think it's kind of challenging where to spend money, and the times are maybe a little more challenging, and it's we need to dial back potentially, and I need to be smart with where I spend my money.
Exactly. Questions like that that could just be 1 month. The 20% increase could happen 1 month. 20% decrease could happen the next month, and you have to answer the same question. So you have to look at all the channels, all the touch points that a user engages with on the way to converting or buying your product or using your service, whatever it may be. There are many ways to influence that user into getting them to pay your subscription fee, pay for the product, whatever it may be that you would call a conversion to get that user.
So that's the customer journey. So how do we...
Exactly.
So I guess customer journey would be I don't know. I think of something like Green Socks. I think that was a thing. Are you still running that company?
I'm familiar with Green Socks.
Okay,
we're doing well.
Good. So I'm interested in some socks that I need to know when they're clean. So I just go search on, say, a search engine. I look in and I click the next search result. I go to the site, and then after that, I don't make the decision right away, and then I leave, and then I get I see an ad for these green socks. It's
Yeah.
like, that's kind of a journey, and then maybe I click on that ad again, and I go back, and I'm like, it finally got me. I was like, yeah, I'm really into those socks. I want them. I know.
That's good to hear.
And then, so like part of it is that customer journey. That could be all within like one ecosystem, right? So like say Google platform, for example. Like if I use Google as the search engine, and you had some, I guess, some pixels set up for your ad campaigns, and I'd gone through the website, and then that all linked together in some way, right? So like I stayed in that one ecosystem. So like, do I need a marketing warehouse in that?
So like in that
situation?
specific case, if you're always using Google, like if you went to google.com to use the search engine for green, green, environmentally friendly, super reliable, saving water socks, maybe that would be your search query potentially. Or maybe be something a little simpler. I'm not sure.
The best socks, possible.
The best socks, yeah. Or not blue socks. Who knows? You're using Google product. So they're going to have an identifier for you. Not for actually you, but the device you're using.
Okay.
So then they can track that device and what it searched for. Then that same device in person, you, is also tracked on the Google Analytics website. And then that is linked with Google Ads. So all that data flows through nicely in that ecosystem, like you said. So if everyone just used Google, it would be great. And all the products are integrated. There wouldn't be a need to have a marketing data warehouse because everything's integrated. All the insights flow from one product to the other. You can activate from one product based on data from another. Like in this case, if someone had searched for it, you know that they're interested in it. So then you're going to retarget them later in a Google Ads campaign, whether that's a search ad or whatnot. But all that would flow through. The challenge becomes when that same person, maybe using a different device, maybe using the same device, comes from Bing or comes from a social media platform like Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. You have to then match up. That's another touch point that you're interested in. They were influenced in another way, another platform on their journey. And in order to have a good look at a holistic view of all those touch points, you need to store that in one central place, and that would be your marketing data warehouse.
Similarly, I guess I didn't even think of this, but like we support like Adobe Analytics now too. Say that was the actual analytics source there instead. Maybe not outside that Google ecosystem. Like, I guess I don't know enough about that to be honest, but like it's something we should maybe look into at some point.
But again, that's a perfect example. Like we now have Adobe Analytics team at Adswerve, and they know a ton about the user identifier that Adobe uses, and there's going to be one, and we can guarantee it's going to be different than Google's identifier.
Totally. So we need to match these in some way, or join, or what's the would be joining on something like there's like a concept of a join key right in data where you can like bring different data sets together, right, to like do analysis on them.
So I'm going to show a slide here about the marketing data warehouse next. As you can see from this marketing data warehouse outline, there's many data sources that come in from the left side. And all of those are going to have certain keys, one representing a user identifier. And they're all going to be different from the different platforms or different data sources. So one of the best ways to find a way to join all that data is to have your users create an account with your website or your product or your app. And what that does is that no matter where they came from, they have to sign in to your product, your website, whatever it may be. And that now puts a place where all the places they can come from join up to that single user. And the benefit is that it's even cross-platform. So if you use your phone, if you use a different device like a laptop or even a smart TV, you know that it's the same person accessing your product or service.
Okay.
So it's really beneficial to do that. And most websites these days, I don't know if you've noticed, you have to sign in to free trial, download a paper. They want some type of identifier that isn't generated by one of these platforms.
Okay.
Because it's very difficult to join a user/device from one platform with another because there's no way to join it. But when you do this user account system, it's a great way to join it.
So I have to take that user ID and kind of send it to all these different platforms in order to have it store on the platform to be able to join it later?
You could do that with like some type of offline conversion APIs, and you can feed back to that platform the activity from those users. However, through Google Analytics, you're going to know that those people came from platform A, like Facebook, or they came from or HubSpot data came in. And that's going to have an identifier joined to your user account identifier within Google Analytics. So then you can make the reference that this person is stored in both HubSpot and in Facebook and in potentially Google Ads. So it can join them all together, and you can make that association and cross-reference.
Okay. And then that's like called like first-party data, or like when you collect it directly on the site, right? It's like that's first-party data, like any action that takes place, or like they fill out something, like they make a purchase, kind of like what they're doing on the site. That's like first-party data. You're capturing that.
So generally speaking, when you have to create an account, which you've done before, like on Green Socks, right?
Well, of course, yeah. Well, when I ordered those, yes.
You have to usually enter an email address to confirm that this is a real person from a robot, right? And an email address is unique across the world, across the internet. So that's one good way to identify you. And a lot of times you have to enter a shipping address, so you could have some more information like that. You could also make a profile on that website. Whenever you're giving information or data to a company, that is called zero-party data. When you're explicitly filling out a form and putting in your name, putting in your email address, you're basically saying, I want you to know this about me. I want you to know that I like, environmentally friendly socks. And I'm going to say, yes, I care about the environment if that's a question that you have. Or yes, this is my address and I'm going to type it in. Or yes, I'm in this age range. I'm going to pick from the drop-down box. You're explicitly giving them that data. So that's zero-party data is what we call. Now, they can also, based on once you're signed into your account, they can also, they meaning the website trackers, which is what we're familiar with, they can derive certain actions based on what you do. So you read an article about saving the environment. You read an article about water shortages. So you're interested in a product that is environmentally friendly and can help you in the conveniences of life, like greensocks.com. Does that make sense?
It does. So is that second-party data, or like that's because there's
That's
another
still first-party data because it's just you interacting directly with that service.
Okay.
They're just deriving potentially certain things. So because you read a lot of articles pertaining to environment and water conservation, they could make the assumption that you care about the environment, so that you might want to see more things that are environmentally friendly, buy more products that are environmentally friendly, and stuff like that.
Okay.
You didn't explicitly
But
say,
are they using,
I care about the environment, check.
Right.
But they derived it from your actions.
But are they using second-party data, like they're using other people's data almost? It's like, so it's like data secondhand to make that decision, even though you're using it.
There's just what you're doing with their website. So they're generating that first-party data. So now what they can do, what any company can do if they find a willing partner, is share that data and that becomes then second-party data. So when you give someone your first-party data, they can look for similar people, similar entities in their first-party data, and then you can use it, what's called second-party data.
Okay.
So
So
it's a big data party.
Yeah,
It's
a lot
right
of-
up our alley, right?
yeah. There's a second data, then third-party data. What is that? Where it's like some other random party has used or has collected data, maybe from like a survey or some other like means, and then you can like purchase maybe this data to color or to add to your own data sets to try to understand your audience maybe a little more. That's what I think my understanding of third-party data is.
Mine too. I've used it in previous jobs as well, where you're looking to, let's say to continue with our example, you want to serve a campaign towards people that care about the environment. It's a big Earth Day campaign, let's say, just coming up in April. And what you want to do is you want to find ways to cast your campaign, to serve your campaign to those people that have shown or replied to a survey willingly or whatnot that they care about the environment. Now, third-party data can be effective and it can not be effective. So you really should just dabble in it and try it out, see if it's working.
Right. Okay.
Measuring it in your marketing data warehouse.
And is there like fourth, fifth, sixth party?
I think the party stops at 3.
So yeah, it's confusing. So what actually matters in this? Do I need to know that I'm collecting like first party, second party, third party data when storing this in a marketing data warehouse? Is that even really a concern, or just like, hey, I need to make decisions, right? I have questions about my business and I want to, be successful in my ad campaigns. Like, do I need to care where this came from, or like the party of data, or it's just like let's look at the data that we have and start seeing what will work, what we can join together and make sense.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a lot. It's a huge data party. There's data coming everywhere, right? Like people are entering some, you're deriving some, you're getting some from other products that derived it. You're looking at all your actions within your CRM, like HubSpot, like all the interactions that you sent to those people. There's a lot of data to look through. I would say you just need to know, like, legally what's allowed. You want to make sure that you're following all the policies, all the legislation. But other than that, if it's legally allowed to be used to make decisions, then it doesn't really matter which party it came from.
Right. It's just as long as
they all make it to the marketing data warehouse party. Right?
Right. Okay, cool. So, like, when I want to store this somewhere, like, I mean, all these data sources, they all live on a database somewhere, right? Can I just, like, query them all and bring them together and make, like, a nice report? Or, like, what's the point of even having a warehouse, like, storing them somewhere?
So if you think back to that previous slide where it was kind of like you have data in all these silos.
Yeah.
And you could piece it together manually with email, or you could do one little piece. But the real power of a data warehouse is the archiving ability. So you take a snapshot every day of each one of these platforms, what your campaign served, how many users you reached, et cetera, whatever metrics you're really after. And you can then trend that. And that trending data over time is really powerful to see the effects. So if you want to answer that question of what caused the 20% increase, you could look at all the trends in the metrics from the different platforms in your data warehouse in one place. So that's really what the data warehouse is about. If you just want to like collect the data, you can, and then not integrate it together. And that's what we refer to as a data lake.
Okay, yeah.
But eventually you want to kind of clean it up, integrate it together, and you can make some business decisions in a marketing data warehouse. And that's happening faster and faster these days. I mean, a lot of these platforms like Facebook, Google Search Console, they all have abilities to export data. They usually all have APIs. So you want some type of process and system that's collecting, cleaning, and archiving this data that's reliable, that's efficient, that's cost effective. And you may or may not be using the data today, but you might want to use it in the future.
Right. I see we have like machine learning on here too. So like we can clearly take all this data, plug it into some kind of machine learning model and make some kind of potential predictions, or maybe see some kind of seasonality, or maybe tease apart like where actually I should spend some money, maybe from looking at the revenue that came in, and maybe kind of glean which thing actually impacted that revenue. Is that needed in a marketing data warehouse, or is the marketing data warehouse really sets us up for success with that?
I mean, again, it's based on your organizational goals. Like, we've had organizations ask us to help them with just the customer insight. They just want to know what's happening with their customers across all the marketing channels, across all the products, which ones overlap, which ones are leading to other ones, how can we build better recommendation, personalization on our platforms, on our apps that help customers get to where they want. How do we retarget our customers better? So there's all that's shown on here as well. I would say that the machine learning, it's probably like further along the data maturity and the data warehouse, the marketing data warehouse project initiative. So things like predicting the lifetime value of a user, that needs to be done with historical data. So you need to run your data warehouse and collect data for, 6 months to a couple of years. The more data, the better, to train your model. But then you can as new customers come, you can go, they're acting a lot like this segment of customers. So they're probably going to spend X amount of dollars in the next year. So if we're seeing a decrease in their activities, we might want to remind them, or we might want to show them something, or if we think they're really like a flight risk, you can even do stuff like churn prediction. So if they've paid for a service and then you don't feel that they're engaged, you can send them a subtle reminder, and then maybe they ignore it. And then another reminder, and they ignore that one. And then finally, when it comes time to renew, they don't renew. So then you're like, what is the effective time range to give them a discounted offer? So you can do stuff like that with machine learning. So lifetime value prediction, churn prediction, which is all great stuff.
So with a lot of this stuff with like lifetime and knowing, like you need to do some historical data, does it matter like what I actually put in my marketing data warehouse? I should probably just throw everything in there so I could just make sure, like, I don't know what happens tomorrow, right? Like what's going to happen down the road. So should I just throw everything in there?
Yes.
Save
just
everything. Like, why not? Just save everything. Yeah.
Data.
Just put it all in there. There's a storage cost, obviously, and component with that.
I guess what I usually tell, or what I do with Green Socks is that there's a lot of competition for different marketing products out there. Do you need to run Google Analytics and Adobe Analytics on your website? No. Right. You just need one website analytics. Do you want your products to be analyzed as well? Like the hotspots on them, the features that aren't working, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe you want another platform or service for that. I would definitely bring in all your ad spends.
Okay, yeah.
Like Google ads, anything on social media, Bing ads. Definitely bring in your Google Search Console data. That's like how are people finding your site organically through Google search engine. I actually don't know if there's a counterpart for Bing on that.
Maybe there is, yeah. If they have an API to get
sure.
it. Or
no
trends.
One's ever asked.
Bing Trends. You could have that.
Yeah.
Just Google Trends.
Bring in obviously you need to calculate ROAS, like return on your ad spend. You're going to need your revenue, wherever
that's that sales
stored.
Thing there?
Yeah,
on the
sales
slide.
thing. So sales revenue.
Money means revenue.
Money. That's what,
money
signs. It's all about the conversions, right?
Right.
I want more people buying and reaping the benefits of greensocks.com. So,
or at least for you, you got to make that revenue and know where to spend your on your ad spend. Cool. All right. I think this has covered a lot of stuff on the marketing data warehouse. I know there's different stuff out there too, like these customer data platforms and And
Yeah.
CRM, like I guess all that data could also just kind of go in there, even though they seem probably similar to marketing data warehouse, but marketing data warehouse really just houses a lot of your marketing data as well.
CDP is very similar, but again, it would be a product that you're buying. You wouldn't have as much control
Okay.
as a marketing data warehouse. A CRM like HubSpot could be. I would ingest the data in, and I could push some back as well, so that you can remarket through emails or whatever strategies you want to use through HubSpot. So definitely there can be some overlap. So you just have to watch that. You just don't want too much. You don't want any overlap, whatever, because you don't want to store duplicate data, because like you said, it increases your costs.
But also, if I store duplicate data, couldn't it look like I'm, doing really well in my sales?
Yes. You can inflate your reports.
But I want
artificially.
That's the thing. I want it accurate, right?
Of course.
So that's so we got to know that. So that's the thing with those join keys. Like I could make sure that everything there's no duplicates going on. I can dedupe and understand what's really happening.
Yeah, I mean, you want an accurate answer too.
Right.
Why did our sales increase by 20%? Was it just fluke? Boy, I hope that happens again next month.
Or maybe that was because I joined differently.
Yeah, maybe the join wasn't working.
Something was off.
No, I mean,
we want reality. We're seeking reality.
Accounting is going to report.
Right. So this
we're
doesn't.
Up 20%.
This doesn't,
what did you guys do?
Yeah.
Hopefully they know.
Yeah.
Or have a gut feeling, and then you want to answer. You want to really confirm that gut feeling with the data report.
So the marketing data warehouse can help us decide that and determine that.
Totally.
Get back to reality.
Because
basically.
The teams, the product teams, the marketing teams, they're all going to have a plan on how to increase their metrics of their business, and great, they did. Sales went up 20%. Okay, what specifically contributed the most?
Right.
Attributed the most. So, I think that's one of our topics that we've picked for one of our future.
I think so. Yeah.
Some vlogs. Oh no, vlogs.
Vlogs. The mixed media modeling or media mix modeling.
Yeah.
I guess we'll get that figured out. A triple M, 3M. One of the ways. But yeah, I think we can kind of tease that apart from your revenue. Cool. Well, next steps, I guess, for marketing data warehouse from Adswerve. Like we can build these. We do know how to build these, and we understand a lot of the things that go into them and the potential joins that you need to make. And just a lot of it's just about us solving the business challenges that people have, right? So
yeah. I mean, if you're going to reach out to us, you can do a lot of research on your own. I mean, that's what we did for a lot of this, to learn this stuff. When we're dealing with client projects, there's so many platforms out there. We constantly get requests for scope, like, can you bring in this data? It's
right.
Like, probably, if they have an API or some type of export, or how do we join it? We have to figure that out. But a lot of these platforms have APIs, have documentation. A lot of them are like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. Those are some ones that a lot of people use, so we're quite familiar with those. But there are some other ones that we've never seen of, and we figure those out as well.
Right.
And generally speaking, there's a lot of material out there on a lot of different blogs or educational sites that tell you how to set up these decision-making systems for you. But we're more than willing to help, and you can schedule a consultation on our website. It's very easy to find. Go to adswerve.com, and in the top right corner, you click that button and enter your zero-party data.
I was going to say,
let the party begin.
Does that go into something? It probably does. Yeah.
It does. It goes into our CRM as an initial lead, right? And it also it goes into Google Analytics as well. That form fills that you took that action, and potentially during that session, you might look at a couple of our resources under blogs, like how does GA4 change my data warehouse, or some other topic like that. So we would have more insight into what you're actually looking for. We'd be better prepared for that call, which would potentially impress the client, retention the caller, impress the lead, and then help close.
Well, awesome. Well, this is great. I'm excited to talk about this. And until next time, I think the next one coming up, we're thinking about do we need machine learning or data science or AI, whatever you want to call it, with the rise of all these different platforms? And I suppose ChatGPT is the popular one, Google Bard, all those things that are coming out.
I haven't used Bard yet.
I think it's still in a private kind of beta, and it hasn't made its way to Canada yet. But soon.
I don't like that.
So again, we're everywhere. We're not just Gord and I happen to be in Canada, but that'll be, I think, a fun talk next time. So look forward to seeing everyone, and thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.